geez, racism still exists in boxing. My word. Speaking of Floyd Mayweather, brother, guys, it was just announced. Deontay Wilder has parted ways with longtime co-trainer Mark Breland. It was just announced today from advisor Shelley Finkel. Right? Now it was reported, once again, it was from that same podcast with Shannon Sharp. Well, when asked about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury 3, Mayweather had this to say. Hey, Tyson Fury's solid. He's got skills. Deontay Wilder's got balls, but, we can make his skills a lot better. I'm here to help all fighters, not just ones in my stable. I'm even here to help Wilder if he asks for it. I'm here. All he's got to do is let me know that he wants to do and what he wants to do, and we can make it happen, end quote. Now, with the exit of Mark Breland, do you think that there have been discussions between Mayweather and Deontay Wilder, and after the Gervonta Davis fight on the 31st, do you think we'll see Floyd Mayweather join their camp in South Florida, or do you think maybe they're going to move it to the Mayweather compound in Vegas? Your thoughts on this, Lee?
Yeah, I have no idea. Probably, maybe they will move it. Certainly they'll be in discussion if they haven't already been. And Breland's release isn't too surprising, given the fact that he did stop the fight. And I honestly believe that Wilder thinks that Breland did him no favors by stopping that fight against Fury, the rematch. So it's not surprising that Breland's gone. Not sure how much that has to do with Floyd, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it makes a lot of sense because Floyd could bring a lot of attention to the fight. He could, basically his presence and him promoting this fight makes it much bigger. Both fighters stand to earn a lot more if Floyd's involved.
That is an interesting point, Lee, because Mayweather understands that that's what he brings to the table. There's going to be a lot more interest in a third fight if Floyd Mayweather does announce that he's definitely going to be in the corner. Now, he might not be the chief second, but if he's a co-trainer and he's in the corner and makes the ring walk with Deontay Wilder, this fight financially immediately becomes a lot bigger. And there's a lot more mainstream and casual, even global interest in this then. This would be huge. So Floyd Mayweather is going to be asking not the customary 10% that most trainers demand. You think he's going to be asking more like 20 or 25% of Deontay's purse? Because once again, for this fight, he's being guaranteed between $20 and $25 million. Mm-hmm. Think about how much that would be for Floyd, and do you think he's actually worth that much?
Well, if he brings if he brings a large masses to the fight, if he gets people to brings attention, greatly increases the pay-per-view buys, really gets people pumped, then certainly, and not to mention that this is an all-time great. I'm sure he could probably give him some tips. At this point, I don't know how much you want to tell Wilder because, like there's an old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But if I were Wilder and I was assuming a new trainer, even if it were Floyd, I'd want to fight a guy like Steve Rolls first, to kind of shake out the kinks. It's not good to have a new trainer and then go right into a big fight. I'm thinking about Razor Ruddock versus Lennox Lewis.
Well, it worked
Razor
for Tyson Fury.
What was that? Well,
it worked for Tyson Fury in the second fight.
I guess it did. It did. But a lot of times a guy will come in like Razor Ruddock against Lennox Lewis. You see a little bit of the old Razor Ruddock, and you see a bit, you see some of the new wrinkles, and it's just a mess,
Indeed. Yeah, Tyson Fury is not like other heavyweights. He's so much more versatile.
Exactly. With his versatility and his ability to adapt. So, but Floyd can bring a lot to the table inside and outside the ring. Now, as far as cost, he's going to want something. He's going to want, maybe it's not, it may be monetary. It might be something else. Maybe he wants a piece of Wilder. Maybe he says, hey, I'll train you, but, I want a piece of you, or more than likely, though, he's going to want a pretty penny. And Wilder is kind of stingy from what it seems, so who knows how that's going to work out.
Well, I tell you what, if he wants people to, put it this way, if they're unsure of the interest, the overall interest in this third fight, because right now, there's not a huge demand for the trilogy fight. And a lot of people, because a lot of time has elapsed, and I hate to say this, but the pandemic was actually a good thing for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and Fox as well as ESPN, everyone involved, because so much time has elapsed that, you could say there is a lot more interest right now than there was going into the original targeted date, which was in July, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now with the addition of Floyd Mayweather, I think it would be a huge story, and everyone would be on board. If I'm Deontay Wilder and Al Heyman, I'm willing to give Floyd that 20% that he'd probably be looking for. Even if he's just an advisor and is just there in the corner and JD's does all the work. I'd be willing to do that, because that, in my opinion, you would see this jump up to over 1 million pay-per-view purchases just with Floyd being there in the corner. That's just my opinion.
And maybe putting him in some of the ads, maybe some of the commercials, putting him in some of the ads. I think that you would definitely want to use him in that way as well. Market, it'd be like you'd be marketing three guys, Fury, Wilder, and Mayweather. And, having his face there, even on the fight poster, with his image in the back behind Wilder or something, that would be pretty cool. For a lot.
Let me ask you this, though, Lee. Let me ask you this, though, Lee. Because Deontay Wilder, he's not exactly a long shot because of his athleticism and his power. He's not a 10-1 betting underdog, but he's going to be about a 3 or 4-1 betting underdog when the closer it gets to the fight. Do you think Floyd is going to want to attach his brand to someone who's a 3 or 4-1 underdog and who's coming off a knockout loss?
Right, he's already willing to do that. He's already willing to do that, and I think Floyd has faith in him. Floyd thinks he can really win, and look at he's attached his brand to Broner, sort of.
That is true.
Sort of. So
once he got smoked like a cheap cigar by Madonna, he was like, "Oh, hey, Broner, who? Adrian, who? Who's AB?"
Little brother? Who? What? No,
I don't know that guy. So, it remains to be seen. But guys, we'll see what happens. But it looks like it's going to be off the December 19th date. We don't know if it's going to be pushed back or pushed ahead, but it conflicts with the college football schedule. So, guys, we'll keep everyone informed.